it's Christy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be making a card using some brand new products from Reverse Confetti. These are releasing on March 8th. I'll be using the Seriously stamp set and the Fun Times 6x6 pattern paper pack. I've stamped my images in VersaFine Onyx Black ink and clear heat embossed those on some Bristol Smooth cardstock, and I'm going to be watercoloring with my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers today. For my seal, I'm using number 096 Mid Gray. It's a gray with a brown undertone to it, so I thought this would work perfect for him. And I'm just going to lay in my shadows wherever I think they should go, mostly on the underside of his body and a little bit on either side of his face to help him have that rounded, more natural appearance. And then I'm going to dip my paintbrush into some water and begin to blend that out. And I am using a number 2 round black velvet paintbrush from the Silver Brush Company. These have a really fine tip to them, which I love to get in these small areas. For the rock that he's sitting on, I'm using number 090 Gray, and this definitely has a more blue tone to it, which I usually prefer. I like to use warm tones for animals or living creatures and cool tones for inanimate objects. And I'm also going to use that same shade for some detail on the cloud. I'm using it a little more sparingly because I don't want it to be quite as dark, but I am creating a stormy scene, so I wanted to have a nice rain cloud. For the puddle of water, I'm using number 031 Cobalt Blue. I wanted to have a little bit of a brighter tone so it would contrast nicely with the background that we're going to create. And for the umbrella handle, I'm using 095 Dark Gray, and I'm just coloring that straight in with the marker. I'm not going to even blend it with any water since it's such a narrow little channel there. So I wanted to do a rainbow colored umbrella that's going to be my big pop of color on the card. So I used number 022 Carmine Red for the first section. And then for the second section, I used number 070 Orange. Next, I'm using number 051 Lemon Yellow. So I'm just doing Roy G. Biv minus the indigo since there wasn't enough sections. I'm using 047 May Green for the green section. And as the name suggests, it's a nice bright springy color, great for bushes or trees or grass. Next, I'm using number 032 Persian Blue, which is just a shade darker than that cobalt that we used earlier for the puddle. And for that last little sliver of a section, I'll use number 082 Purple, and that's going to complete our rainbow umbrella. The last thing I need to do is color in the little seal's nose, and I used number 021 Light Carmine for that. And I'll just set these aside to dry while we work on our background. I'm using 3 shades of Distress Ink, Stormy Sky, Chipped Sapphire, and Hickory Smoke. And I'm pressing those ink cubes directly onto a Ziploc bag, just kind of alternating where I put the color, so there's a little bit of each one throughout. Then I'm going to grab my Tim Holtz Distress Sprayer and spritz that up until it beads into little water droplets. Then I can flip that over and press that into my cardstock and kind of move that color around a little bit. Once I peel that up, you can see that we're left with a very loose watercolor, which is exactly the look I'm going for because I wanted kind of a stormy ocean type scene, but very abstract for our little seal. So I'll just bring in my heat tool and heat set this until it's dry. And I like where it's going, but I wanted a little bit more of that hickory smoke color. So I'm going to add a little bit more of that into the scene. Just press that down a few places and I'll heat set that again. Then I'm going to add a little puddle of each of the colors by pressing the ink onto my work surface and then adding just a little bit of water so that I can do some splatters all throughout the background. And I did this with each of the 3 colors, making sure to get some larger and some smaller droplets. And then once I was happy with it, I just set it aside to dry. I wanted to stamp my sentiment directly onto my focal panel, so I'm just putting that down into my Misty, and then I'm going to stamp it in VersaFine Onyx Black ink. I'm using the one that says, "I'm here for you, rain or shine," which I think is really sweet and works for a variety of different kinds of cards. Then I'm going to coat that in some clear embossing powder, just tap off the excess, and then I will heat set that until it's nice and shiny. While I have my Misty out, I'm going to stamp the inside of the card with some Lawn Fawn Hippo ink, and I'm using the one of the other seals in this set, the little splash marks, and the sentiment that says "Make a Splash." To assemble our card base, I've got 2 pieces of pattern paper trimmed down of this gorgeous gray print. I wish I had like a whole pattern paper pack of this. I can't get enough of it. But I'm just going to line the smaller strip up on the left side of the card, and then I'll take the larger strip and I'm going to use that on the right hand side of the card. I cut those down just a hair too long, so I'm just going to take a pair of scissors and trim off the excess, and then I'll grab my focal panel. I've added some Scotch 3M foam tape to the back of that, and I did use quite a bit since it was pretty warped from all the water and heat embossing and drying with the heat tool. So I'm just going to line that up a little left of center on the card and make sure that is good and straight before I press it down into place. And then I can grab all my images and begin to create my scene. I'm using some Tombow Mono multi-glue to adhere those down into place, and I'm just setting them down gently until I have everything exactly where I want it, and that's just so that I can adjust as needed to get the spacing just right. I'm going to add my seal overlapping my puddle just a little bit, and then I'll put the cloud in the top left corner. And I'm going to set an acrylic block on top of that to help it dry flat into place. As a final embellishment, I'm going to take some Pretty Pink Posh 4 and 6 millimeter clear droplets, and I'm going to add those to my card. I thought that would be just a nice touch of whimsy and really go with our Stormy scene. So I'm using some Ranger Multimedia Matte to adhere those down, and my pick-me-up tool to just pick up those gems nice and easy and set them back down into the glue. This is a really good adhesive for things like this. It holds really, really well even through the mail. So I just added a little sprinkling of those, and that is going to complete our card for today. I'm going to lift that up so you can see all the nice detail and give you another peek at the inside. Don't forget that these products and more will be available on March 8th, but there are going to be sneak peeks on the Reverse Confetti blog all week, so you can check those out there. I'll also be guest designing with them for March and April, so stay tuned for more Reverse Confetti projects on my blog and YouTube channel. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that already. Here's 2 extra videos that'll hopefully keep you guys entertained until the next one. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Bye-bye.